The story of Otokoto morning ritual killings of 1996. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, consider subscribing. On 19 September 1996, during the regime of late General Sani Abacha, in the city of Owerri, Imo State, an innocent 11-year-old boy by the name of Anthony Ikechukwu Okoronkwo was murdered for money ritual purposes. The little boy was hawking boiled groundnuts, which was his daily routine. He strolled along selling his groundnut for peanuts to whoever wanted to buy. When he got to Amakohia, or area of Owerri, his eyes lit up with joy when a customer beckoned on him to approach. The customer was named Innocent Yawu, age 32. The boy was called into the famous Otokoto hotel, and the little groundnut seller was visibly very excited since it was a hotel. It meant the new customer would probably be buying plenty groundnuts, which would mean more money to take home to his parents and he was always happy to assist a struggling family. While waiting, the boy was treated like a guest. He was given a bottle of Coca-Cola to cool off from punishing heat of tropical Africa. Innocently, he took the Coke and gulped it with relish. As he was sipping his soft drink and taking a look at the glittering surroundings of the hotel, he could only imagine having a hotel of his own too later in the future. As he was dreaming, his vision became blurry and the sounds around him became muzzled and dull. In a matter of minutes, he dozed off, never to wake up again. His tray full of groundnut was lying in a corner. Observing the boy from a safe distance was the man who had called him to buy his groundnuts. He had spiked the boy's drink, and once he saw he was asleep, he took the limp body of the drugged lad into one of the hotel rooms, and of what followed next remained one of the evilest things anyone can ever dream of. A sharp cutlass emerged from nowhere, and the boy's head was severely cut off from his body. He was beheaded in a matter of minutes. After the boy's head was cut off, he disemboweled his torso, removed his liver and other parts he needed. Not done yet, the boy's genitals were also removed. After butchering the body and sorting out the organs, he packed his head inside a polythene bag and buried his remains. The butcher, A.K. Yawu, then took the polythene bag containing the boy's head and headed for the next destination, to the house of the man who needed the fresh head, the man who is behind it all. How did this information leak? After the grisly murder of the little Okoronkwo by Mr. Innocent A.K. Yawu, what a name, Innocent indeed. He left the hotel to deliver the head where it was needed. He then stopped a bikeman, Okada rider, to convey him to the place. It was the Okada man named Okbara whom he stopped to take him to his destination in Eziama that realized that was his passenger was carrying inside a polythene bag was a fresh human head. It was still dripping with blood. When he alighted, the Okada man quickly alerted the police. The police then intercepted A.K. Yawu on his way back in a Peugeot 504 car. He was carrying the head with him in the polythene bag. He was going to the residence of a highly influential figure named Chief Leonard Unagu at Eziama, Ikeduru local government area with the head, but upon arriving, he was told that Mr. Unagu had gone to Lagos. So Ekenyawu had no other options but to return to Owerri with the boy's head. When it was all time to take the headless body of Ikechukwu to the local mortuary, there was a massive procession and protested by Owerri people. People came out in their thousands to protest the boy's ritual killing. They stayed around and within the hotel premises, waited for the police to confirm that it was indeed a ritual murder, while more were marching and trooping to the scene of the ritual murder as the news was spreading. It was in the midst of this tension that the local media station made its miscalculation. They showed the image of innocent Ekenyawu holding the heads of his victim. The goal of the media was to assure the people, as such public fear asked the public to help identify the boy and show official transparency, but that followed next was a catastrophe. All hell broke loose as estranged people of Owerri went haywire after the image was the first broadcast of the 24th of September. All Owerri residents abandoned their businesses and congregated at the town's central marketplace. It was there they decided on the next plan of action and outlined their strategies to deal with the Otokoto's headhunters. The news spread rapidly. Every home in Owerri had heard the news or seen the image of Okonkwo's head or his shallow grave. Unemployed and disrupted youth took over the parks and issued threats to the Owerri millionaires. From the Owerri main market, the riot exploded and spread. The pattern of destruction was neat. The rampant crowd first went into morgue, and from there they rushed to the Otokoto hotel and burned it to the ground. From there they went to the nearby palatial mansion of Vincent Duru and destroyed his property. His expensive cars were wrecked, and Duru himself narrowly escaped death. From there, the crowd split into attack groups and spread out to other sites of the privileged elites and unleashed maximum destruction. The well-known Piano Plaza and stores, alongside another hotel, Chibet Hotel, and various businesses linked to Otokoto and their associates were utterly destroyed. The Zubairu-led government later confiscated all the properties as recommended by the panel, which was headed by Justice P.C. Onu Marjuru. From there, they rushed to the place of the traditional ruler and chairman of the State Council of Traditional Rulers, Eze Onu Egu Unwoke, later indicted alongside Aneke and Aburi by the panel of inquiry, and burned down his residence and his petrol station. They also destroyed the king's 15 air conditions and many of his cars. They were not done yet. From there, the crowd troops headed for the residence of former Imo State officials. These administrators were targeted because what was described as their alleged unwillingness to properly tackle several cases of ritual murder, kidnapping, robbing while in office. The angry rioters only agreed to calm down when the military administrator Millard assured them that a full state-level investigation of the incident was going to be launched. Ekenyawu, who murdered the boy, was aged 32 and he worked as a gardener inside the Otokoto Hotel. The Otokoto Hotel, at the time of its existence, Otokoto Hotel was located at upscale area of Owerri, especially at Amakohia side, and it was a favorite location for the rich and wealthy youth to meet, drink and have all manners of fun. Duru's hotel was made up of 3 buildings, 3, 5 and 6 stories each, one behind the other. It was owned by Chief Vincent Duru, the father of Obiodozo Duru, the leader of the Black Scorpion Secret Court that was responsible for robberies and kidnapping of children in the state. Background to the history. Before the horrible incidents, the people of Owerri were already very mad at the bizarre actions of some loud, extremely powerful, and absently wealthy individuals in the state. These people were highly connected and oppress everyone when they want. Rumors were all over the place as to their very dark dealings and even the possibility of ritual murders and killings, but no one really had any hard evidence yet, or probably those who had were too jittery to say anything. Whatever the case, these rich people, who had no real, tangible or easily traceable source of wealth, kept on living large and installing an atmosphere of terror and fear on the Owerri populace. This was how Owerri was described at the time. When the people heard of what happened inside the hotel to the boy, Owerri exploded with anger and resentment that had been peeling and piling up for years. For 2 straight days, the people of Owerri trooped out in their thousands protesting and rioting. Not even the strong-arm tactics of the Imo State Military Administrator, Colonel Tanko Zubaru, could stop them. The administration of the former military governor Navy Captain James Aneke was already seen as corrupt, 419-based and even complicit in the protection of the Okotoko's men. They simply ran amok, and the national and international media focused on the Owerri riots of 24th and 25th of September 1996, also known as the Otokoto's riots. The people felt they had had more than enough. Any property suspected belonging to the Otokoto's men were set ablaze. From posh hotels to luxury supermarkets, the flashy automobiles, palatial machines, everything was destroyed and burned to the ground. Any suspected member of the Okotoko gang was lynched. It was so serious that in May of 1995, the daughter of Dr. Oko, a physician in the city, was kidnapped by the Black Scorpions. One of the allied secret courts asked the doctor to pay $12,000 before the girl would be released. Eventually, the police stormed the hideout of the Black Scorpions, and months later, the leader of the court, Obidozo Duru, who happens to also be the son of Chief Vincent Duru, owner of the Okotoko Hotel, and Amaze Onuha, were both arrested. They were brought before the Imo State Robbery and Firearms Tribunal on the charges of armed robbery, a capital offense. Businessman and politician Emmanuel Onwanyanwu were also mentioned in the saga, but he denied ever knowing anything about the case. What happened next was nothing but a mockery of justice. Duru and Onua were treated like royalties in the prison rather than criminals awaiting the death penalty. They got the most liberal visiting privilege, ate food cooked and brought from their homes. They were like laws in Duru. A PhD holder in psychology from California State University even impregnated one of his female jailers and did a traditional wedding with her before he completed his case. And while they were incarcerated, the rate of child kidnapping in Imo State dropped drastically. In 1997, 6 people were executed by a firing squad following a judgment by Justice Emmanuel Unodim. One of those killed was Obiodiozo, the son of Chief Vincent Duru, leader of the Black Scorpion Court. Where is Otokoto Vincent Duru now? Vincent Duru alias Otokoto, one of the men convicted in the celebrated case of ritual murder of September 19, 1966 in Owerri, Imo State, was reportedly hanged. His execution took place on Sunday, November 13, 2016. This was 13 years after his 2003 conviction. This was after the government approved the execution warrant for his properties. During the administrations of Ikedi Ohakim as governor, he tried to revoke the right of occupancy of the police to the confiscated Okotoko's property, but people were said to have kicked against it. The Duru family was also said to have approached Governor Rochas Okorocha over the confiscated property, saying the property belonged to the Okotoko's group and not Duru. Okorocha stylishly brushed the matters aside. Each time the issue of returning the confiscated property to Okotoko's family or where people rise to protest. Each time the issue, Nigeria is still in grips of ritual killings, almost 2 decades after the Otokoto saga. The same factors that gave birth to the 1996 Otokoto ritual killings are still in place today. Poverty erases beliefs in supernatural powers that leads people to believe money can be made from flesh without working, weak corrupt law enforcement agencies, and a super slow judicial system. Thank you guys for watching to the end. See you guys in my next video. If you've not yet subscribed, please be part of this awesome family, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.